Hello, my friends. It is another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. Hi, everybody. I'm Trish Carr. Happy day. I hope that you are having an incredible day, just as I am. And I'm so excited to be here with one of the members of Women's Prosperity Network, who is, of course, making a difference out in the world, kicking butt, and taking names, as we say. And this woman, wait till you meet this fantastic woman. You know, what we do here on Be Real, Get Real is just that. We are real. And when you are real and you get real, you achieve real results. And this is the opportunity to actually meet the person behind the business. You know, we all do business with businesses, but in reality, we do business with people. And the more we know about the people, the more we understand who they are, the more affinity is created, the more we like each other. And when like happens, trust happens, and it all works beautifully. So I want to introduce you to Dr. Rhonda Farrell. She is a Fortune 500 leader, an entrepreneur, nonprofit, and community consultant. She's an innovator, and wait till you hear about how she innovates her life. She's also, I love this term she uses, change evangelist, and she's an advocate. And what she does is she offers a service oriented approach that melds mind, heart, and hands. And she assists leaders and organizations in getting unstuck and operating at peak performance. So please say hello to Dr. Rhonda Farrell. Nice to see you, Dr. Rhonda.
Good afternoon, Trish, and all of the wonderful personnel across the globe who are joining in today. We are so happy to have you, and I hope all of our conversation serves you and your organizations on your journey to greater success and happiness.
Yes, yes, yes. And we were just talking a little bit about your journey. And that's what this is all about, is sharing your journey so that we can all learn from each other's experiences. And we were just talking a little bit about how you lived in California. You were in like the .com area of um, San Jose, parts of San Francisco, Mountain View, and at the you think it's not a great time, but it was a bad time during the recession. How you picked up and moved to Washington D.C. And that must have been a big change from California. First of all, you had winter.
This exactly, and snow shovels, right? Snow in California, Northern California, in Silicon Valley. 3 days of frost on your windshield, Trish, right? Not exactly setting you up for expectations for feet of snow out here in the snowy mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, well, that in and of itself is such a big change when you move from one city to another. And then, you talk about investing in the bounce. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say I selfishly borrowed this from a phenomenal Kentucky men's basketball coach, John Calipari. He wrote a best-selling book called Bounce Back: Overcoming Setbacks to Succeed in Business and Life. And there's another lady that kind of did a spin on this after John's work went viral, right? We really saw his core messaging and his principles not only get instilled in the teams that he was leading for greater success, we saw this move to the business world. And one lady really comes to mind, and that's Miss Sonia Rakati. She published a whole series of books and podcasts and work called Unsinkable: How to Bounce Back Quickly When Life Knocks You Down. So when we think of what each of these thought leaders are doing in their respective industries, we're really, what they advocate is that when an event seemingly to us we would go to a negative space, right? If we didn't have a solid core, if we didn't have an understanding of who we are, where we are, what we want our businesses to do, and who we want to impact, it can seem very scary, it can seem very frightening. But if we look at it through a different lens, that in that time, whenever, we'll just whenever we get a curveball in life, we can catch and pitch with greater velocity, right? We learn and we grow and we gain, and we're able to play whatever business game we are in at a higher level because we have the time to reset, to recharge, to rethink. So both of them advocate that if we take the time to catch that event and not react to that event, but catch it and think about it. We have 3 different things we could do that. We can choose the mindset we want to put on and how we want to approach that for our greater business and personal growth. We can change the heart set with which we catch and apply our skills and capabilities to that particular situation. And then we can really take that and examine that to inquire. So if we earlier in the relationship with Women's Prosperity Network, I had the opportunity to have a conversation with your sister Nancy about Ikigai. And Ikigai is really your reason for being, your purpose, and your meaning in life. So when we get a curveball in life, instead of moving to a place of fear, moving to a place of being not only uncomfortable, but out of control uncomfortable, if we take a moment to catch that and say, from a heart set, what is this curveball attempting to teach me? What is my wake-up call that I need to be learning about and inquiring about at this? If I take a mindset of not only looking at where I was and what I was doing from my business and my professional life, and if each of the entrepreneurs and leaders on the line could instead say, what is my future vision, right? Oftentimes that curveball happens in our life when we are at the precipice of phenomenal growth and advancement in our lives. And it's just that event that turns out to be the catalyst for the greatest amount of growth, the greatest amount of advancement, the greatest amount of impact that our entrepreneurs and leaders can be having in their life. We see so often, just like the coach and Sonia, right, that they took the seemingly what they would say a 1, 2, 5, 10 negative events that might be happening all at the same time. And instead of letting that, Sonia cut is sink you become right. Unsinkable, because it's that shift in mindset. It's that shift in heart set. That's that shift into your greater, I call the bullseye, right? That where passion and purpose and greatest impact align. So we want to look for that bounce, right? If we think of how does a ball bounce, if we drop it from an inch up, it can go bounce 2 inches back up. If we drop it from a foot, it's going 12 feet up, right? If we drop it up the high dive on a swimming pool and had some type of cover over it, right? It goes exponentially higher, right? So it's all to say, through the lens of, Gay Hendricks and his wonderful life in the, it's all about our upper limit. How much are we allowing success, joy, prosperity, and abundance and success into our life? And each of these seminal events allows us to go higher and higher and higher if we're willing to do the work to reset our thermostat to higher levels of achievement going forward. So
wow.
Thank you, Trish. Those two, I would say those 3 seminal works kind of lay the groundwork for what's in the realm of possible. Then it's up to us through our willingness to assess where we're at, our willingness to understand how we want to create and add value and impact. Just like, talking to you three sisters, Trish and Nancy and Susie, right? What happened within each of your lives that allow you to get to the point where you could envision, develop, and field women's prosperity network? And what is the impact and the value that's providing for women and men around the world exponentially, right? So that happens for each of us, right? As we encounter, again, if we can look at, was the .com bubble in any of our control, right? Us as an individual control? No, right? So all we can do is react and say, what did that allow us to learn? In what ways can we grow? In what ways can we differentiate, right? So we saw a 10-year plus, and take it, Silicon Valley is the entrepreneur, innovator, venture capitalist, still the greatest spot on earth, I would argue, right? For just continuous innovation. Yes. And it continues to this day. So if we go back to our roots and we look at what is the core things we can learn from that, it's that instead of sitting back and getting comfortable in our comfort zone and only looking at our success and abundance and happiness and impact of only being able to be delivered in one way, right? We really advocate for how can we make that balanced portfolio in our life. We were equating it to invest in the bounce. So, right, if we take it from this balanced portfolio and investment, we're going to be looking at value opportunities. We're going to be looking at growth opportunities. We're going to be looking at aggressive growth opportunities, right? So in that balanced portfolio for entrepreneurs and business leaders, we want to be looking at how do we create, sustain, maintain the optimal revenue streams, passive and active, to allow us to achieve the greatest outcomes that's most important for us, right? If you look at for-profit firms, right, it's going to be revenue generation and value for the stakeholders. If you look at community groups and nonprofits, they're going to have a different formula for what success looks like. If you look at entrepreneurs and you look at other business leaders that come from different industry segments, what success looks like and how they measure it and how they measure their value and impact is going to be different. So we have to take that into consideration when we undergird our investing in the bounce approach, our balanced portfolio, with our reason for being, right? Our ikigai, our purpose and meaning in our life, and how we want to offer that to others.
Yes. And when you talk about the ikigai, it goes back to the importance of knowing what you want to accomplish. What is your purpose? Where do I want to go? What am I impacting? And for some of us, it's, hey, I just want to get out of my job and create my own business.
And exactly.
Right?
Trish, you're right. And that's what, when we say we get a curveball or we get that events where we need to bounce, that sometimes people don't know, right? And part of that, we may get 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, I call them 20 wake-up calls in a lifetime saying, and what does that mean? Typically what that means is wrong path. Right. And if when we don't listen, we get another wake up call. When we don't listen, we get another wake up call. But when we do listen with our mind and with our heart and with our hands and with our willingness to envision and explore what is in that bullseye for passion and purpose and impact and value for what's most important to us. Right. I think we as entrepreneurs and business leaders have a strain of advocacy and evangelism that tells us if we look at how others succeed and follow their recipes for success, we can be just as successful. Well, yes and no, because what's most important is if the reason why they're doing what they're doing matches your values, your
right.
the way you want to add value impact and enable success around the globe. And only if and when all of those align can we do that. Yes, can we glean a lot from the best practices? Can we glean a lot from the recipes for success? Of course, but trying to apply them for outcomes that others own for their why reasons that may or may not match your values, etc., it doesn't necessarily work in the long term. Yes, does it get you further faster? It well may, but until we're willing to go deep and explore that triad, right? Passion and purpose and what's most meaningful for each and every individual, I personally and professionally don't think we can attain the heights that we're capable of attaining. And I don't think we can necessarily optimize that success and outcomes for those with which we serve.
Yeah.
Trish.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, I put the website up here so people can connect with you. And also, I know you have a LinkedIn group. So tell me, I know there's free stuff there. So let everybody know a little bit about that LinkedIn group and what they can get when they join.
Thank you very much. And so Global Innovation Strategies is really built for each and every one of you. It is a pairing opportunity on a consulting arm of high performance transformation. So if we look at the root of consulting and coaching to women, minority, veteran, service disabled entrepreneurs and business leaders, and really the impact that they're wanting to have in life, we need firms, mine being one of them, that really work to support them as they're transitioning. To your point earlier, Trish, right? They may be going from an employee to their own company. Right. They may be in the phase of exploration as what does that mean for them? What am I meant for? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to be serving? Am I an innovator in doing product? Am I an innovator in doing service? Am I an innovator and doing creating frameworks and models for others to replicate and harness? Am I an innovator doing research that others can use as intelligence to help grow their businesses? So Global Innovation Strategies really helps entrepreneurs, helps business leaders, helps others within the firms, community groups, nonprofits, states, and federal government entities. We help them gain greater clarity, stronger alignment, and optimize their performance. So often, again, if we don't have a strategy, we're not aligned to our strategy, we're not clear on our mission, we're not honed in on our why, we're not in that bullseye or sweet spot of passion and purpose, impact and value. We have to create the frameworks and the methodologies and the performance management and monitoring tools, tips, and techniques, and implement them to help people identify their optimal path, to get them back on their optimal path, and help them to perform to their optimal path. So it's all really about this reassessing, recalibrating, readjusting for higher and higher and higher levels of performance. But that's what ultimately gets us to higher levels of success, higher levels of abundance, and higher levels of happiness and joy, because we're constantly recalibrating to greater and greater levels of success.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, the consistency of that, being able to understand that there's always the next level, there's always the next mountain, there's always the next thing. John Bon Jovi talks about that, of Bon Jovi, the band.
Yes.
He said, when our first record went gold, I thought we made it. When we played our first stadium tour, I thought we made it. When we won a Grammy, I thought we made it. He said, there's always another mountain, and every success builds confidence to get on that next mountain. And we always have higher and higher levels of opportunity and success. So Dr. Rhonda, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about this. And I love the idea about investing in the bounce. Like, no matter what happens in your life, you're going to go through stuff, and realize that the bounce back is going to be even greater in your opportunities. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much, Dr. Rhonda. Thank you for being with us today on Be Real, Get Real. And be sure to connect with Dr. Rhonda. Here's her website, dblinnovstratllc.com, and connect with her there. And of course, go to her LinkedIn group, which is Global Innovation Strategies on LinkedIn, and make the connection. Dr. Rhonda, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Nancy and Susan, for the wonderful opportunities to serve Women's Prosperity Network. And I'm so grateful to be able to talk to the wonderful entrepreneurs and leaders out there. And we so hope that there is value and more, that bounce of impact for you today and ideas for how you could raise your success, abundance, and happiness going forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. We'll see you again next time with another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. Take care, everybody. Thank you again, Dr. Rhonda.
Thank you.